It's only fair to continue to wonder what Jerry Jones is doing with the Dallas Cowboys and the Micah Parsons situation. Parsons is arguably the best player in the NFL, and Jones has to understand that there's a price tag that comes with that. He can act like he doesn't, or try to make snarky comments to Parsons and his agency, but the truth is the truth. If the Cowboys don't want to pay him, when the time comes, Parsons will get the biggest deal in NFL history for a non-QB from another team, barring anything happening. Cowboys' history of prolonged contract negotiations. CBS Sports' John Breach recently had a great article about the Dallas Cowboys and what they've done in the past. He noted that Jones has continued to fail in these contract negotiations. He added that with CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott, because they waited until the last second, some of their players got way more expensive deals than they should have. That includes Prescott, who was given a record-setting deal at the time for $240 million. With Lamb and Prescott, the Cowboys essentially waited until the last second to get a deal done, and in Prescott's case, it really was the last second. The Cowboys quarterback was given a record-setting 4-year, $240 million extension just hours before the team's regular season opener in September 2024, he wrote. How the Cowboys should have handled the situation. When he started talking about Parsons, it just goes to show how poorly the Dallas Cowboys have handled this situation. Not only would they have had an opportunity to potentially sign him for $35 million AAV, but now the Cowboys could be looking at a deal that almost reaches $50 million AAV because of contracts others have signed. The NFL is big on what the last player got, and given Parsons is as good as he is, it's only fair to wonder if he's going to completely break the market. Contract he might get from the Cowboys. Parsons is expected to become the highest-paid non-quarterback in NFL history, so if he does rescind his trade request and sign a new deal, it's a near certainty the contract will pay him at least $42 million per year. TJ, what is currently the highest-paid non-QB, at $41 million per year. What the Cowboys should have done. Parsons has been eligible for an extension since the end of the 2023 season. From January 2024 through January 2025, the numbers didn't really change on what an offer might have looked like. During most of that span, the highest-paid non-quarterback was Nick Bosa, who was making an average of $34 million per year. Justin Jefferson then topped it in June 2024 with a deal worth $35 million per year. That's the number the Cowboys needed to beat. Max Crosby topped that number in early March 2025 with a 3-year extension that's worth an average of $35.5 million per year, he added. As Breach touched on, Parsons getting a much bigger deal now seems likely, even if it means that he ties someone like Myles Garrett or Trey Hendrickson whenever that deal happens. However, from Jones' perspective, the last thing he should want to continue to do is wait until these deals are done. If he pays players what they're looking for early on, he'd actually make out better in the long run. Not everyone is a fan of Dallas Cowboys owner Jerry Jones and his negotiating tactics. To that end, some people are really interested in making excuses for Micah Parsons for what appears to be a major mistake made in the ongoing contract negotiations between Jones and his NFL All-Pro edge rusher. Bill Simmons called out Jones for being shady in the negotiations with Parsons after he requested a trade from the Cowboys on August 2nd. Parsons, who is 26 years old, is due to make approximately $24 million in 2025 after the Cowboys exercise the 5th-year option on his rookie contract. That's about $16 million less than his contemporaries in Pittsburgh Steelers edge rusher TJ Watt and Cleveland Browns edge rusher Myles Garrett. In Parsons' trade request, he stated that a conversation between himself and Jones in March where he told Jones what he wanted out of his contract in terms of money and years was interpreted by Jones as the two sides agreeing on contract terms. Parsons had already told by his agent, David Mulugheta, not to negotiate with the Cowboys over his contract until Watt and Garrett signed their deals in order to drive the price up, something that had not happened to that point. Micah Parsons is in his mid-20s. How does he know how to do a deal with an owner who has done a cajillion deals? Simmons said on the Bill Simmons podcast on August 3rd. That's ridiculous, it's shady. Experience the historic rise of one of the greatest teams in all of sports. Parsons' age shouldn't be excuse for bad business. We should point out Parsons isn't a minor. He's an adult man in his mid-20s who made a bad business move by negotiating with Jones without his agent there. He also did so against the advice of his own agent, who had already told him 2 to 3 times to not negotiate with the Cowboys until over deals have been signed. Circumventing an agent is a tried and true Jones move. It's also something he tried to pull on quarterback Dak Prescott, who refused to talk without his agent, Todd France, there with them. The Cowboys have made Prescott the highest-paid player in NFL history twice in the last decade, with a 4-year, $160 million contract extension in March 2021 and a 4-year, $240 million contract extension in September 2024. France ultimately said Prescott understood his value and was willing to bet on himself and wait for the perfect deal, even if it meant taking risks, which was proven to be the correct choice when his record-setting contract was signed, the Fort Worth Star-Telegram's Lawrence Dow wrote in April 2025. Parsons has generational talent on edge. Parsons is a once-in-a-generation type of defensive player, possibly a once-in-a-lifetime type of player as well. His 126 pressures and 31% pass rush win rate since 2023 lead the NFL, ESPN's Jeremy Fowler wrote on July 9th. He has done this despite facing a 31.5% double-team rate in 2024, highest among edge rushers on this list. He generated a league-high 19.1% pressure rate last season and led the Cowboys with a 24.2% pressure share, the 8th highest clip in the NFL. His pass rush win rate of 25.3% ranked second overall. And, oh yeah, Parsons is the second player in NFL history to produce 12 or more sacks in each of his first 4 pro seasons. White is the other. As one of the most iconic franchises in sports, the Dallas Cowboys have a wide range of famous fans. Ahead of the 2025 season, one of their more notable supporters placed a steep wager on their opening matchup. The 2024 campaign did pan out how the Cowboys hoped, largely due to injury. They won just 7 games, their lowest total since 2020. After failing to make the playoffs, the front office got to work making changes to get the team back on track. Though they still have unfinished business to attend to in the form of Micah Parsons, Dallas is in a position to turn things around this season. Among those who are extremely confident they'll be more competitive is NBA legend Shaquille Oneal. During a recent episode of his The Big Podcast, Shaq dove into his passionate fandom of the Cowboys. He is so bought into this year's team that he was willing to place a big wager with his co-host, Adam Lefkoe. If Dallas is unable to secure a victory against the Philadelphia Eagles in Week 1, the Hall of Fame big man will wear a dress outside of one of his hotels. "We winning this year, I'm guaranteeing it," Shaq said of the Cowboys. "I will wear that dress in front of my restaurant at the Paris Hotel in Vegas." Taking down the Eagles will be no small feat, bringing back a majority of last year's roster. The reigning champions are in a strong position to go back-to-back. The Cowboys had minimal success against Philadelphia last year, suffering blowout losses in each of their 2 meetings. In Week 10, Dallas was on the wrong end of a 34-6 defeat. Then, in Week 17, the Eagles secured a 41-7 win to sweep the season series. With a fresh slate this season, the Cowboys have a chance to yield better results against the Eagles. One thing they'll have going for them is an upgraded cast of talent. Along with a healthy Dak Prescott under center, Dallas will be debuting their new wide receiver duo of CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens. Following his recent wager, Shaq is someone who will be watching the Cowboys' opening matchup intently.